everyone. How is everyone doing on this glorious Monday evening? Hopefully, I'm not muted. Hopefully, everyone can hear me okay. Let's see if you can hear me. Let me know in the chat. It looks like everything's good, but you know how it goes. Anyway, I've got me, my man Ravenhawk Coins, and of course, Silver Seeker. How you both doing today, you fine gentlemen?
Are we live?
Oh,
is this on?
Like, because I don't like being in front of the camera on live, like when people can see me live. I'm not used to this.
Then go get Minty Mike on the camera. He's never shy.
What's going on, guys? What's up? Glad to be here. Glad to be with Rob and Raven. I love doing this every other week, hanging out with you guys and having a lot of fun. Uh-oh, Tony says you sound like you're in a tunnel. I did not notice that, but I don't have my headphones on.
Right now.
You're in a cave, says Fireside Coins. What's up, people? Good to see everybody tonight. Exciting night.
Looks good on my end.
Say something now.
Can you hear me, Seeker? Okay.
Yeah, now you do. Now you do sound slightly like you're in a tunnel.
What? All right. Well, let me see if I can get this.
I just didn't notice it because I hadn't had my headphones on yet.
Well, it's going to be a little bit different, I guess, until I figure out what's going on here.
You're fine.
Oh, hold on. It should be good now. Is it better now, or can you tell?
It doesn't sound any different.
Oh, my goodness.
Come on, Rob. We thought you were a professional.
I am. I don't know what it's I don't know why it's doing this.
Professional.
Professional. How you doing, Edie? Good to see you. Good to see everybody in chat. And I'm not in the chat room, so I apologize if I'm not answering via chat right now, but you guys are awesome. Thank you for being here and showing the love to the Mount Stackmore.
Is this any worse or better?
That sounded a little better.
It sounds close to the same, slightly better, but close to the same.
Oh,
and that may just be me imagining that it sounds better, to be honest.
Well, I don't know why it's doing that. Everything looks normal on my end. Hopefully it's the same. Is it the same bad or is it the same better? Because I don't know, man. Do I have the right mic selected? I do. I do have the right mic selected. I don't know why it's doing that. Seekers, Raven, keep them busy while I take 2 minutes to take a double check of everything.
All right, sounds good. So what's going on tonight, Ravenhawk Coins?
Well, as you know, it's official. I'm booked for Grove. I will be there with you guys so that we have Mount Stackmore in the house.
That is crazy exciting. Like I have said, I've been wanting to have you at this show, and I'm glad that it's confirmed. That is cool, man. Yeah, are you know what? I didn't actually, and honest to God, guys, I'm not just asking him this for fun on the stream, even though I don't already know. I haven't asked him this. Are you getting a table?
No, not a personal table. I wouldn't have enough stuff to show for a whole table. I'd be like literally a 2-foot section, if that.
Well, it doesn't have to be coins. You can bring shirts and stuff like that too.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll see.
It's up to you.
I did plan on bringing some shirts, but I also know that we have some other things in mind, so I didn't want to kind of overshadow things or try to, hey, here's my stuff, but yet we got this other thing happening. I wanted to.
Oh, there's not going to be any overshadowing, and trust me, I'm sure there's people that are going to be there would like some stuff from you. By the way, in the chat, Mid America Coin says, "Welcome to the show, Ravenhawk."
I think my mic is fine now. Hopefully,
welcome to the stream.
That was a huge difference.
Welcome to the stream.
Wow. Okay, I forgot that in StreamYard, even if I'm using OBS virtual setup, you still have to double check the microphone on that because now it's using the Streamlabs in one part, but it's using the StreamYard setting in the other, which is why it sounded funny.
Right.
Hey, does that sound better for the volume?
No, Raven, you are.
Hold on, let me
Who's hosting this stream? I'm sorry, Dan. I'm a rookie. We don't do StreamYard very often, so I always forget on StreamYard how the heck you got to do it. I don't do this too much.
What's up, LawDog72562 says he got the pulsating Canadian Peace Dollar ultra high relief today. Beautiful coin. That's cool.
Law Dog don't go around here, savvy.
That is
Seeker,
awesome.
Coin Dog
I
says,
love
would you guys
Tombstone.
recommend a 1 ounce silver bars for stacking? Would you recommend 1 ounce silver bars for stacking?
If you can find the tubes for them cheap, sure. The problem with silver bars is that they all have like slightly different dimensions. Some of them are a little bit thinner and longer. Some are thicker and smaller. And so if you get all the exact same 1 ounce silver bars, sure. But if you're going to get a mix and match, it's going to be a lot harder to stack them. You pretty much just put them into a box. I can show you. I have a box of randomly sized 1 ounce silver bars that just don't stack anywhere. By the way, I did want to say really quickly that we have a lot of amazing people in the house, and because Rob was busy fixing his mic, I probably should have announced that there will be a lot of questions, but I'm not the one that gets to put them on the stream tonight. So if you at me, I will do my best to respond to you if Rob throws them up. So
If I throw them up. How about this one, Seeker? Any thoughts on stacking modern $5 gold coins?
10th ounce eagles. We actually discussed this, and to be honest with you, I did a video on this, I think a week or two ago. It may have been 2 weeks now. And I did a video about this also, where I asked Mike from Mid-America Coins in that video about stacking 10th ounce gold eagles, because that's what you're talking about. And he actually answered that quite well. So the thing I will tell you about stacking 10th ounce eagles, though, is that you are going to pay a higher premium. You're probably not going to get the entire premium back, but if you were to turn around and sell them to like a shop or something, but if you wait to have enough money for 1 ounce, you may end up spending some of the money and end up not having it anyway. And spot may have went up and you don't get the difference back regardless. So it's a complicated decision that you need to make on your own. But there's nothing wrong with getting 10th ounces. Just try and get them for the best you can.
I have a question here by Chaim. He says, my dad doesn't let me submit coins for grading as he claims it's a waste of money. What should I tell him or do? I'll give my 10 cents roughly on it. And then, of course, Seeker and Raven can weigh in if they want. I mean, it all depends on what you're grading. I submit sometimes coins that really don't warrant the cost of being graded. Like, for example, the very first DDO I ever found was a 1995 Philadelphia minted zinc cent DDO FS 101. And even in a mint state 65, it fetches just a handful of dollars. So paying for it to get graded didn't make a lot of sense. But for me personally, I wanted to memorialize that cent as my first DDO, and I wanted it graded. Also, there's a lot of coins out there that their authenticity is not validated until it's slabbed, and or the true value of the grade is exponentially more greater depending upon the grade it receives. So if I had something I couldn't tell was an MS63 or a 65, and a 63 it's worth $100, but 65 it's worth 1,000, then sometimes it's worth rolling the dice to get that potential higher grade. Not only does it preserve the coin forever, there's no doubt on what its value is as far as its worth and its grade, and it makes it a lot easier to sell, move, and preserve forever. That's my 10 cents.
Can I interject really fast? And it's not about that. Going back to that original question, reading the chat, I noticed Michael Kittle had mentioned modern $5 Kamems. That may have been what he was talking about. And if so, those are great to stack because the premiums on them are actually quite low. So it's actually a cheap way to get some modern US gold. Yes. Sorry about that, because I didn't even think about modern Kamems, but that may have been what he was talking about.
Anything to add on the grading information, Seeker?
Yeah, that's where I was going to get. What you said is correct. If you think if going from one grade to another is going to increase the value quite a bit, it might be worth gambling. It's a roll of the dice, though. You could get the same grade. It might even come back lower. You just never know. But there are people that make a living going around to coin shows and buying what they consider to be undergraded coins, resubmitting them. In other words, they're buying the coin and then paying to have it regraded. And then when they get those higher grades, they know which coins to buy. They know exactly what they're doing. And then, they get those higher grades and then sell them for a big profit. There are people that make a living doing that. So
yeah. And really quick, BH Customs, $5 super sticker. How's it going? Well, it was going okay until I realized my mic wasn't properly set up. But outside of that, it's going okay. We're just getting started. Thank you for the $5. Appreciate the support. Stephen Hersey, Raven, how about you attack this one? Should I grade my 82cc, 83, 84 cc's all in uncirculated BU condition?
Yes, that's a no-brainer in my opinion. For that kind of coin, that's just one of those things that you don't see in BU very often as it is. And if you get the right designation, you're talking, literally the potential of thousands of dollars difference in the one grade. I mean, it's just, if you have those actually in your possession, you know, it's I would do it.
Yeah, with 82, 3, and 4 CCs, I mean, those are the most common date CCs. So for that $1,000 difference from one grade to another, it would have to be way up on that scale, which is hard to get anyway. But the true benefit of slab coins is insurance. I think the true benefit of slab coins is just preservation. Like, you don't have to worry about dropping it and dinging it or dropping it and scratching it. Once it's in the holder, it's in the holder. You can put your fingers all over the holder. You don't have to worry about grabbing gloves. It's good. If you drop it onto a concrete floor, probably going to crack the slab. Coin's still going to be fine. You have to resubmit it if you want to keep it slabbed. But the point is it's protected, and it's very, very good for that. So regardless, for Carson Cities, I don't see why you wouldn't. I would.
Yeah, I agree. And Seeker's right. I mean, MS64 and below, the value on those common date CCs is not that different from being raw in hand, seeing that it's a BU coin.
Yeah,
but
common date for CC was the point.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Once you hit 65, 66, though, there's not going to be a CC Morgan that's not going to just jump up in quite a bit in value. So it is a roll of the dice. Plumber Stacker says, is 90% silver still worth stacking when paying above 20 times face? Matt Poe, 31 months as a member. Thank you very much, brother. Is it still worth it? I mean, for me, yes, to an extent. I mean, it depends on what you're getting for your silver stack. If what you're getting is coal type coins and common date coal type coins, maybe not. But if you can get, you'll be surprised at what you can get for 20 times face in a BU dime, Roosevelt dime, or BU quarters. And so if you can find better examples, and sometimes in that 20 times face, you're going to get barbers and Merc dimes and things like that, walking liberties. And if you can get those types of visibly better kind of condition and more collectible coins, then I would say consider it for sure. And you still have a chance at getting something with numismatic value at 20 times face that was overlooked. Seeker? Raven?
Oh, sorry. I was responding to a comment in the chat. Move the Raven on that one. I'm sorry.
Raven, anything you want to add to that?
Stacking 90% at 20 times face. I mean, that's not a horrible price right now. I'm pretty sure that's where it's going, even in most shops locally. So it depends on where you think silver's going. I still think 90% is a good thing to stack. It just wouldn't be my entire stack.
Correct.
Right. You want to diversify as much as you can.
Bombay Sapphire raises an interesting question on a lot of levels, because I get constantly hammered from so-called numismatic experts wondering why I handle coins barehanded. And I don't want to get into a long, drawn-out discussion of this, because I think there's a lot of schools of thoughts. But on this particular question, Seeker, what do you want to say to this?
I saw this video clip, and I know exactly what he's talking about. The NGC grader put his hand, if I remember correctly, he put his hand into like a bag of coins and pulled one out with his bare hands and was, showing. I get it. I don't remember exactly what the coins were though. Like, were they common and he was just doing at the show? I'd have to see the video again. But you guys have seen my videos. Anytime I'm handling a coin in fact, I get comments in my videos when I'm handling slab coins, I still have gloves on. You're like, why are you wearing gloves? I'm like, if you watch any of my videos, I always have gloves on. I spend a lot of money on gloves.
but traditionally everybody's known in coin shops and stuff. You always just hand it by the rims. It's always been accepted. Gloves is a more recent phenomenon, in my opinion, as far as people being really worried about it. Now, yeah, you can transfer your thumbprint if you like pressed it hard onto the coin, but I understand why some people cringe too, because your oils will affect the coin. That's where you get some of the toning and stuff comes from the oils in your fingers and stuff for handling coins.
Really bad with modern coins too.
Yeah, especially modern coins. I've seen where you barely touch a zinc penny and it takes that fingerprint like that. But
yeah,
there's good and bad sides to both of it. There's two schools of thought. Some people wear gloves all the time. And I go into dealers where, you know, a guy picks up a roll of Morgans that's BU and just starts looking at every coin with his hands, and I'm going, I don't know if I would do that myself because of the age of that coin, you know.
It makes sense though. If he's handling it by the rim, you're probably not going to harm it. But the second that it starts to slip out of your hand, and then you go to grab it so it doesn't fall, and now you're squeezing it, the face of the coin with your thumb, and your hand's greasy or even sweaty a little bit. I mean, I wouldn't want that to happen, especially on older copper coins. Like if you submit to NGC, for example, let's just use for example an old large date cent. They will literally put on the on the website when you look up that serial number that they only guarantee the grades for copper coins for like 10, 15 years. Because even in the slabs, those coins can deteriorate. And I'm sure with environmental issues, you know, for example, leftover oil from somebody's fingers would exacerbate the issue.
Yeah.
I agree. Well said.
All right. I'm probably missing questions. I probably missed some of these, stopped asking them, but there were questions earlier and I can scroll up for them. But if you have a question you'd like for us to discuss, we can definitely do that. But I do have Sam Wilson who wants to know, Silver Seeker, are you wearing gloves right now?
No, when I'm handling my magic cards, I don't wear gloves because they're already in two different sleeves.
That would have been funny. He pulls up his hand. It's black. You're like, oh, see?
Tim Morrell asks,
tease Seeker. When he had those really long coin roll hunts, he would do 12, 15 boxes or whatnot a night, and he's wearing those black polymer gloves. I can't wear them for more than a couple minutes with my fingers and my hands and my palms are just sweating like crazy.
Oh yeah.
I don't even wear those coins to protect the coins because I mean we're looking through $half that have been rolled through a machine. That's to protect me, man. When I first started doing this, I would coin roll hunt, and I'd have to go to the bathroom like after every box or two because my hands were black, and it was so gross. And so I just started wearing gloves I'm like, yeah, we're just gonna wear gloves.
Timothy Morrell says, have you guys been seeing more? I guess me particularly more counterfeit coins in your bags. You know what? It depends on who your source is. The guy I buy them from, I trust. I was surprised to see a double-headed 64 silver $half. I even told him, I was like, how'd you miss that? But outside of that, no, I have not seen counterfeit coins in my bags of concentrated silver. But I've been dealing with the same dealer for 3+ years, and I spend almost exclusively just with him. So he knows if he wrongs me or he misses something in his favor, that could terminate the agreement that we have. So I'm not seeing it. Are you guys seeing it at all?
Not really, but it is a concern of mine when/if, silver hits, $40, $50 an ounce and those $half start becoming worth 20 a piece again, where it's probably going to become a real serious issue. I do know that they exist now. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they don't. But I imagine that's going to be a much bigger issue if spot doubles. Much bigger issue. So
hold on, guys. I'll be right back.
That didn't sound good, but it is something I worry about.
Maybe Seeker could help me with this question. Have you heard anything about the U.S. Mint using another vendor to distribute coinage in the near future? Seems I read that somewhere today. I haven't heard anything about that.
I have not heard a thing about that, so I wouldn't be able to comment on it. I've not heard any about that.
I'm going to mute Raven until he comes back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here's, I did miss it right here. Hertel's coins. As a dealer, I have seen counterfeit ones, but not a whole lot. Yeah, you will see them out there. I just haven't, in my purchases, I haven't seen them, but I do know my dealer sets aside the things that I like, and I would imagine him setting aside my specific bags of coins that I get. He would probably make sure that there's nothing fake in there. I mean, at least I would hope he would. But let me unmute Raven now.
All right.
Oh yeah, Libertads. Are you guys collecting them? I recently am. Joey, I recently have been getting really into them after seeing them in several different channels, auctions, and just seeing them in general. I don't see them a lot in my area unless I pay a high premium on them. So I always look for a better deal, but at the end of the day, I would collect them if I could get my hands on them more often personally.
I love Libertads. End of story.
Yeah.
Hey, is that better with the mic? I found
way
that
better.
StreamYard has.
It's a little bit too loud. You're kind of blowing out.
How about that?
That's good. That's good.
All right. I didn't know StreamYard has its own mic volume as well as OBS. So
yeah.
I had all my stuff turned up all the way, and people are like, I can't hear you.
I'm sure the chat doesn't want to hear this, but when you're using OBS, the mic settings in OBS don't affect StreamYard. StreamYard uses its own mic settings.
Silver Seeker, what's the best way to establish a good relationship with your LCS other than spending a ton of money?
Go in and talk with them, but money talks. So you spend a lot of money with your LCS, you're probably going to become really good friends with them. But, going in and spending a little bit of time in the shop, but not being so much that you're just bothering them because they're busy would be, go in, spend 10, 20 minutes, maybe spend a few bucks and then leave. I wouldn't sit the whole day there because you sit there the whole day, probably going to start bothering them and they'll be like, oh, why is this guy here going to have so much to do?
Ravenhawk Fireside Coins asks, where do you find such interesting coins for your auctions?
Well, myself and Miss Raven, we do a lot of searching from three different shops actually, and I literally will ask the right question. Hey guys, did you get any new buffaloes in? Did you get any toned coins in? I make sure to do things just like I do for my banks. I establish a relationship with the dealer, bring them some coffee and some donuts and stuff when I come by to buy my coins. Sit there and BS with them for a little while, because what'll happen is eventually you'll have somebody like we went to a guy today that we mostly buy bullion from, and we were leaving, and then he goes, hey, I got a couple, hand poured skulls. Do you guys want to take a look at these? And that was literally because you've developed that relationship. He now kind of has an idea of the things that we're looking for. And then, he'll offer it up because he sees you as a genuine, friend on top of spending money in their shop. A lot of the reasons we're able to get some really nice coins and higher grades and stuff that sometimes the dealer will keep for themselves is simply by developing those relationships and being yourself. If you go in there and bull BS them, they're going to know just like anybody else would, and you're not going to be, their favorite customer. But I also try to pay attention to what people are asking for in, the streams and whatnot as well. And I really like the high, graded coins, BU, AU, and you can't go wrong with staying with things that are going to be something that I would personally want in my collection if I was buying from an auction, versus just buying random stuff that, somebody has 50 different proof sets. Now, proof sets are nice, but you're kind of resaturating the market with something that it takes a long time to accumulate more value, especially with modern proof sets. It's going to take you years upon years before you see a big return, versus getting some older stuff like seeded Liberty dimes and bust cap dimes and Indian head pennies and whatnot. And that's probably my best advice is develop the relationship, spend that little bit of time with your coin dealer, letting them know that you're not just there trying to get deals. You actually care about what's going on in their world.
Yeah. Morgan McLean asks about the Lighthouse Intercept coin storage boxes. They also make Intercept coin folders and things. I've never wanted to spend the amount of money that those things cost to hold things. I just feel like if I have something that is that absolute nice, it wouldn't go in a regular storage device. It would go into a slab. But that's me personally. I know that by the time I slabbed an entire Morgan set, the cost of that would far exceed had I just purchased a Intercept Shield folder or album. But that's just my thoughts. I'd rather slab it than stick it in one of those. But that's me. What about you, Seeker?
I've never actually used the Lighthouse Intercept coin boxes, so I don't really have a comment on it.
Yeah, I don't really know much about them myself either.
Hey, hit this one. It was from Treasure Hog.
I saw it. I was gonna get it, but it was
okay.
It's this one right here, the prep.
Yeah. Thoughts on using MS70 to prep Mint State Morgans for grading? I know people that do that, and usually they don't have an issue with it. One person specifically showed me what he does. He dips, and keep in mind, I'm not telling you to do this. I don't clean any coins at all, but he dips a Q-tip into the MS70 and he just rolls it across the top and the bottom of the coin. He doesn't rub it. He doesn't slide it. He just rolls it like that across the coin, kind of like a wheel rolling on the ground, and then rinses it off, and that's all he does.
And I will tell you from experience, and hopefully PCGS isn't watching, I have actually snuck in on that 20 Morgan submission or 18 Morgan submission. I snuck in 2 that I MS-70, they weren't the ones that got cleaned. I'll tell you that much, because those are the ones that where I was like, well, am I going to get cleaned anyway? But I didn't touch those. I think I'm a perfect 5 for 5 in doing it, but I've never done it on a coin that I valued at over $1,000 personally on a silver coin. And that's what he's asking about, Morgan. So
right.
It's not something I would recommend, because if it has enough dirt and grime on it already, you probably are going to make it look cleaned by doing that, because it's not going to get in all of the devices and everything that's on the coin. And they're going to see that it's cleaner in some areas and not in others, and it's going to cause a flag. So if I had a coin that was a proof-like coin that happened to have a nice thumbprint across the front, and I'm like, man, that's so obvious it was touched, maybe I would rub the Q-tip across it like Seeker's talking about, just rolling it. But outside of that, it wouldn't be something I would have as a mainstay prior to submission. It's funny because I've been recently looking at how to submit to PSA some baseball cards, and they're all for cleaning the baseball cards before you prep them for PC or for PSA. They're talking about using your hot breath, wiping them on a lint-free cloth, and I'm like, that's cleaning. But it's something everyone does for PSA and baseball cards, not recommended for coins, personally.
Right.
You know, I'd love to see somebody get away with it with NGC, because they seem to say everything's clean these days.
Well, a lot of them do these days. It's quicker by having an untrained eye. Just quickly say clean if they don't know better, because it'll be resubmitted down the road, most likely.
Yeah.
Hey, you got to keep those populations down for those rare coins,
Yep.
right?
So
I'm just kidding.
What is MS-70's a cleanser?
It's
right here, Raven.
There you go.
Industrial strength coin. Oh my goodness.
It's still almost full. Like, I think I've used it on 10 coins lifetime to see what it does. So what are the best varieties on 40s and 50s wheat cents? Well, I know what they are, but I don't know if
I'm leaving that to you, Rob. You're better with
I'll
varieties
give you
than
a
me.
couple of obvious ones. I mean, obviously, you would love to find a 1955 Philadelphia minted doubled die obverse, and that would be great. There's only a one or two handful ever found of a 58 Philadelphia DDO. That would be great. But for the most part, there was a lot of problems with the wheat cents if you're looking for RPMs. But when it comes to major DDOs and DDRs, 1941 has a couple of great DDOs that fetch $100 even in XF condition, and you can find those roll hunting. I have found several of them. As far as later years, there's a nice 43 steel set that has a boldly doubled RPM, a D over D. And then there's a 43 Philadelphia that has a DDO. But outside of that, you're looking at RPMs, not a lot of great variety. Some of the 44 D over S's can get a lot that's an over mint mark. But really in the 40s and 50s, there's not a lot of valuable ones other than that 55 and 58 P DDO. And good luck ever finding one of those in circulation. Those are snagged up right away when they found out about them.
There you go. Definitely leave the variety questions to you. There's no question about that.
And you know what? James says, don't forget about the copper 43. That's not a variety. That's a mint air. They struck it on the wrong planchet. Right. So if you want to get into mint airs, you can always add those to the mix. The 43 copper, the 44 steel cent. I mean, there are wrong planchet problems sometimes, but outside of that, we've named most of them.
Right.
Well covered.
Ravenhawk and Seeker, if you ever had to sell a few slab coins, would you wait for a show or would you go to the LCS?
Well, it really depends. I mean, you could take me to your LCS, see what they offer you, then go to the show and see what you can get there. The beauty of going to a show is that you can go around to multiple dealers and get multiple offers without driving everywhere. So, I mean, unless it's going to be a long time before the show comes and you have to sell them immediately, I'd wait for a show.
Seeker, have you ever done well at a show? Because I'll give you an example. There's always that one long wall of people that say we buy coins here. I know a lot of dealers sell them, but there's also usually one person who's not even really selling coins. They're just buying. Would you go to a dealer individually, or would you go to that long bank of dealers that just want to buy today?
I'd go and see what they're offering and then also go to the dealer. I mean, I talk in my videos all the time about shopping around, get the best price. you know, things like that. And at a show, that's a fantastic place to do it because you don't have to put too much effort in to do so. You know what I mean? I mean, all the dealers are there for you. So you just walk from one to another and find the guy who's offering you the most.
You know, Twism's got a pretty good question. I got your email, Twism, and I do have a video already partially recorded talking about mechanical doubling versus double die.
Oh, please call it DDO for Dummies. Please. That'd be a great title.
I was actually going to call it how to identify machine versus or mechanical versus double die for dummies, but I thought would YouTube actually get mad that I'm saying dummies? But I don't know. That is what I was going to say. I'm in the middle of putting out a video. I got half of it recorded. I've got to put some pictures in there, and it is one of my how-to or to learn about doubling videos that I have coming out. But just a quick reminder that, remember, double die is exactly that. Especially in the 60s and earlier, the process for hubbing a die or making a die was done in several stages. So let's say they put the motto around it, and then they got that part of the die ready to go. Then they put the bust on there and got that. So the guy had to actually align the die, recreate the second template, and then it went over to the date, and then it went over to the hand-printed mint mark. So there was several processes in creating a die. By the time it was handled that many times, all it took was a slight slip, a little rotation, and all of a sudden you've got a double die. Double die means every single coin struck with that die will have the exact same doubling characteristics. That's double die. There is 7 different people at every mint that hand check the dies before they're used for striking planchets to make sure that they don't have that process happen. Unfortunately, like in 1955, they were running a short shift. They skipped all of the quality checks and jumped it in there, and they produced 20,000 55p DDOs. The next morning, they caught them after an 8-hour run, and they already had 10 million cents manufactured. The president of the mint said, you know what? This is going to be too costly to remelt this all and do it all again. Send them out. Those were caught fast, and hence you've got a nice double die, just like you had in 72. Outside of that, though, mechanical doubling has nothing to do with the die that's striking the planchets. Has absolutely nothing to do with it. That die is fine. As it's striking the planchet, something occurred. Whether the collar was loose, the planchet wasn't seated properly, the die has actually been used so much that it's deteriorating over time and it doesn't have sharp devices. When it struck, something occurred that caused slippage, that caused shifting, that maybe the collar let go too early. Maybe the timer was off by the time it struck and was ejecting it. There's a bazillion different causes of it. The die is fine. Something else occurred. That's machine doubling, mechanical doubling, shelf doubling, eject doubling. We can go to 1,000 different things. That is not double die. I'm going to create a video that talks about this in detail to help people once and for all understand it. But at the end of the day, it still takes a keen eye and a lot of different scoping of sense to start understanding what it looks like. Hopefully that quick 2-minute thing helps somebody, but I'll have a video about it coming out probably in the next week.
And by the way, I want to say I'm not calling people that don't know that dummies. The book series
No.
is what I was going at.
It is. Listen, all those books that came out in the 80s,
I know.
Computers for Dummies, this for Dummies, it was meant that this is layman terms. This is how it works. Let me show you what you can do to be better.
Right.
And the DDO versus mechanical doubling or double die versus mechanical doubling has been an ongoing numismatic issue for generations. So, yeah.
There you go.
Really quick, because I don't want to miss it, I have another super chat unless I missed a different one. Ian Santoro, where do you get your penny and nickel? Yeah, the number one question is where do I get those Dansko albums? I've had those Dansko albums for years in my collection. And thank you, JC Wrights, for 26 years as a member, and I'll get to that.
26 years.
For years. So that's why the books only went to 1986. There's a reason why they weren't printed through 99 like the books I had to handwrite in. These are old books that have just been sitting in my collection that I utilize for the hunt and fill. So if you go to Dansko now, you're going to get segments of years because design changes, like in 09, and then the 10, the shield scent. You have America the Beautiful. I mean, you have all these different subsets. So you're not going to get an all-inclusive. And let's face it, there's like 100 plus years of leek incense now. You're not going to get a book that has 100 years plus in it. So I can't tell you where to get them. You're not going to get those exact ones unless you find them at a garage sale, an antique store, a thrift shop, or eBay, or somebody who's selling them as a third-party user that happens to go through their closet and put them out. All right.
Cool.
Am I talking a lot, Seeker?
Not at all. I said for years when you announced your channel member, you said, "Thank you, JC Rice, for being a fan for 26 years." That's what
I say. 26 years. Dang it! I meant 20.
And then I called you out over it, and you goes, "Yeah, I've had him for years," and everyone's like, "Whoosh!" It went right over your head.
Quite the milestone. Anyway. All right. I was thinking of the Dansko albums. He does ask, how do mint marks get put over each other? I feel like I'm talking a lot, but this is my wheelhouse.
Please go at it. This is your wheelhouse. Seriously.
So in sometimes a set of planchets, because after 1989, the planchets were no longer hand stamped. Not hand stamped. The hubs were no longer, hubs were already created with the mint marks. They were no longer hand stamped onto the dies. So they streamlined that process. But in some instances throughout history, we've had a mint that had a order of number of coins they had to mint actually run out of their planchets. So they might call the Denver Mint. San Francisco might call the Denver Mint and say, "We need some planchets." Well, the Denver Mint might have already stamped their D on there. San Francisco gets them. They have to correct the planchets. And so now you have a D over S or S over D. It's just basically planchets that already had the mint mark on them were sent to another mint, and then they reused those, and they had to put their own mint mark on top of it. Typically, they rework the dies and get rid of that so that it wouldn't show, but sometimes it does. Hopefully I explained that right. I'm still thinking about 26 years. Unbelievable.
I'm sorry, man.
All right. And I meant dies, not planchets. Leave me alone.
I was hoping you would fix that, but I wasn't going to interject. You just kept saying they just send they just send planchets over with their mint mark on it. Why not? You know.
The dies with their mint mark, not the planchets. Sorry. All right.
It's okay. I've done that before, and then I noticed it in editing and had to go back and re-record a whole video or a whole section of the video because I said something stupid like that throughout the whole video. And then I'm watching it back. I'm like, what was I saying? And then,
you'll occasionally hear a voiceover that is not quite the same volume and tone of me recorrecting saying something ridiculous. Like I have said, in holding a penny in front of my head, we've got another 1950 nickel. And I'm like editing going, nickel? How did I get a 50 nickel out of this? Right.
That's why they make fun of me for the 1964 Franklin hef.
Mr. Gentry, I have a 2007 nickel that weighs 3.4 grams. Was one of its common, or do I have something? Well, that's light as can be. Could be a wrong planchet, but it depends on what it looks like. If it's been treated and worn and almost slick and you can barely see the date, it's possible it's just been somebody with some post-mint damage. But I would need pictures to really get an idea, unless Raven or Seeker wants to add something to that.
No, that's really light. Yeah, I have no idea. That would have to be. What planchet is 3.4 grams, though?
None that I know, but I do.
That's what I'm saying.
Pennies are 3.5 of their copper, but that wouldn't make sense for a 2007.
Right? No.
Yeah.
I do have a.
I just don't know what that would be. I'm sorry.
I can't remember the year, but there is an 87 or 88 Philadelphia nickel that was struck on quarter planchet that weighs 4.2 grams. I can't remember the year, 87 or 88. I remember I used to look for it years ago, never found one. But anyway, bottom line is 3.4 is really light. I would need pictures. Send me a picture. Seeker, thank you for the video. Oh, top 3 DDO DDR tips. Is it all about serifs? Oh, is it all about serifs? Not always. Not always. You can look at the 2004. Well, the 2004 nickel does have some serifs on the P and on the star, if you will, but it's not always on serifs. No, the bottom line is you really need to familiarize yourself with what DDO and DDR and machine doubling is, and take a look at the known pictures of doubled die coins, because yours should look identical. Remember, the die is the problem, not the striking process. The die is the problem. So every coin will look the exact same as far as the type of doubling. Let's see. I think someone wants to talk about steel cents. Seeker, you know anything about steel cents? Because I don't know very much about them other than I can never find them.
They made tons of them. They're not very rare unless it happens to be in 1944.
Yeah.
And done. not to be joking. I mean, they made a lot. They made like 250 million per mint, so it's over 750 million of them. They're as common as any other wheat cent. People just like them because they're different. Unfortunately, in 1943, people hated them. They messed up in going into the drink machines. People confused them for nickels and dimes. So they switched that back pretty quick. But yeah, it's, they made a ton of them. They're not rare unless they're from 1944. Even uncirculated really aren't that valuable.
They're not. I mean, unless again you have a DDO or a RPM that isn't high grade. But yeah,
right.
No. Cyrus wants to know if any of us have a 1944 steel cent.
No, God, no. I wish, man.
Oh, somebody had asked about, or actually made a statement saying that their dealers said to stay away from air coins. And my experience when a dealer says that is because they don't have much knowledge in those coins themselves, and they really don't want to put information out there that can get them, messed with down the road, giving you the wrong kind of information. I've seen plenty of dealers that embrace air coins because they are usually rarer, of course, because they're a mistake.
You're right. There's actually, you know what? Keep going, Raven. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, you're fine. Go ahead.
I felt bad. Well, I was just going to say, I was actually going to continue on what you were saying. And additionally, as to what Raven was saying, a lot of dealers will only deal in like the celebrity errors, like the 55 DDO and 72 DDO pennies that have been slabbed and certified. Like they don't even mess with them if they're raw. And for the same reason that Raven was saying. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Well, we get excited when we talk, and we just want to interject.
Yeah, that's 100%. Sorry.
Is Sister Seeker? Have you heard from Sister Seeker in Vegas yet? Says Johnny T.
She's out there somewhere. I don't know.
Oh, speaking of strange things that Seeker has on his show, you're getting something back at Grove, by the way.
I don't want that thing. Can we
It's going back to you.
Dude, I tell you what, you rented that cabin. Can we just like burn it in the fire pit? We'll make a video.
That'd be toxic.
That's
what we do? Float her out on the lake and see if she catches fish.
Dude, we could hang some fish on the hooks from her, and if she starts bobbing up and down, we know we got a bite.
Heck yeah.
But that'd be the end of Judy.
I gotta share a story though. The other day, we're cleaning some stuff out around the desk. My wife picks up the box. She goes, "What is this?" And I said, "Oh, well, that's Seeker's blow-up doll, Judy." And she goes, "There's a blow-up doll in our house?" She didn't know about Judy, so I had to tell her the story about Hydroconomist and the very odd adventure that he had with her that made it where I didn't want to put my mouth on that thing.
Well, I love Hydro, but he's the reason I don't want her back. I mean,
it'd be like unleashing the plague when you open the box.
That video was something.
Yeah, it was special, that's for sure. What's up, Dreadpool? Oh man, too funny. Hey, and then another one. Plumber Stacker asked about the future of his Mexican silver. Honestly, not even a year and a half ago, I could get Libertads all day long for close to spot. A lot of people weren't buying them, and now they have skyrocketed. And because they've skyrocketed the way that they have, I don't see that changing in the future. The value, even every coin dealer I go into, you can't touch one that looks like junk for less than $60. It's just amazing what's happened. I did see on like APMEX or JD Bullion where you could get a random year for about $48 each, which, like I said, I used to get them for $22, $23 all day long. And it didn't matter what year they were unless they were like the first year or so of it. And it's actually spilled over into the older silver as well, like the 1 pesos and the 5 pesos. They're going up really exponentially. And when something goes up exponentially, it normally doesn't drop down because it's getting harder and harder to get that kind of silver, because there's also a lot of dealers that melt Mexican and Canadian silver, and they keep only the US 90% silver.
We have a super chat, but I do want to see what Seeker and Raven think about this. World coins, are they a nuisance or a hidden gold mine?
Hidden gold mine, in my opinion. I'll give you one example. Russian coins, and a lot of people don't know this, but there's a certain amount of Russian coins that are made out of platinum. And I know from personal experience, my dad found a handful of platinum Russian coins with me as a little kid. I took them to the side thinking they were really cool. He knew what they were right away. And just from things like that, and also silver that's hidden that they don't know that is silver, you'd be amazed at the stuff that you can find in world coins. Hit it, Seeker.
Well, are we going on world coins, or are we answering Rich Fontaine's?
No, we're going to finish up any world coin thoughts. I think Raven hit it all, but I just might as well see if you had
Raven basically hit it all from a opinion perspective. World coins was something I was into, and then I really kind of just lost interest in. And so for me, it's just, well, it depends. Are you talking about world bullion coins, or are you talking about like just world coins as in world currency? I kind of got out of that a long time ago. It's just not something I'm really into anymore. So opinion, I don't really like it anymore, but I used to like it. But there's just so much of it. It's like if you think about learning about all the different errors and things like that on US coins are bad, man, there's so many world coins out there. I mean, world coin books are like this thick, and that's just for 100 years. Go back 200-300 years, you have books this thick. It's insane. Just so much to learn.
I agree. I'm a little bit out of world coins too, but I will never not quickly go through a world coin bin and see if they missed coins that I know have value, like the silver ones, the Russian platinum ones, even a lot of the older Germany coins with the different designs fetch a lot more than face value, especially in nice condition. So I am not unaware of grabbing some goodies when I can, but I don't stack the world coins like I used to.
Right.
I'm the same way. Mm-hmm. Rich Fontaine, $20 super chat. Holy cow. Thank you, Rich. Ravenhawk, what's your most prized coin, not based on a value alone? An example would be Seeker's Morgan that he and his dad submitted. How about for you, Raven?
Wow. I would have to say it was my first Carson City Morgan dollar that my wife got me for a gift a while back, to be honest. I have some ones that are still very precious to me, but that was my first Carson City, and you kind of don't forget something like that. It's kind of like your first love. So I think that's the easy, quick answer for that, because honestly, I love a lot of my coins. It's hard to pick a favorite.
Right.
What are you doing down there, Seeker?
Dog. He said RFT in that too.
I know. Yeah. I don't. The thing is, I don't have a most prized possession coin. I know it sounds odd, but it's like I was the kid that when he had 6 stuffed animals growing up, I didn't baby any of them because I didn't want the other 5 to get sad. So I'll be honest, I'm the same way right now. I don't have a most prized coin, but I am partial to the first, my very first nickel set I put together of just coin roll hunting. That was like from 2017 to 2018, and I finished it at the end of 2018. And I've only had to upgrade like 2 nickels in it since then because I found such great examples of all the coins. So I don't have a prized coin, but the very first album I ever completed, the set I ever completed was my nickel album set. And that's probably that just solidified to me that coin roll hunting can be achieved, or at least heights can be achieved through coin roll hunting for your collection as a numismatist. And I know it's just nickels, but I don't care. I completed it through rolls, all at face value. I'm happy.
Yeah, and you know what? Back to what Rob said, I'm kind of the same way when it comes to coins and especially currency. It is very difficult because you kind of have a story with each different thing that you collect, or at least I do, things that are in my personal collection. Like I found a while back a radar note, and those are pretty darn hard to find, And I like that one just as much as I like my South African, or not my North Africa yellow sealed note. I always mess that one up.
The thing that he was referring to with, I don't know if you guys saw that video, but I talked about the silver dollar for my dad. It's a coin that I have in my collection that would be the last thing I ever sell. And only if it was because I was going to starve to death if I didn't. And it's just because of the significance of the story and the timing of the story. So it's not about the coin. It wouldn't have mattered if it was a Morgan or a penny or a paper clip. It was the story that went along with it. So,
Seeker, before you answer this question, Trump has asked it several times, and I feel bad.
Oh, I don't have the other chat up. I may have missed it.
Yeah, I was wondering if you guys had any suggestions when buying large amounts of gold regarding taxes, storage, etc. My dad bought 55 ounces of gold, and it's quite scary to think about everything. I haven't ever bought a large amount of gold. We know Seeker's capable of doing that, so I'm just kidding. But Seeker, seriously, any thoughts on that?
Well, seek a tax professional's advice for sure. I'm not going to try and give you tax advice, but keep your dang receipt, because when you go to sell it, you better have a way to show what you bought it for. You'll be paying a lot more in taxes than you should. As far as storage, there's a number of different ways that you can do it. I don't recommend safety deposit boxes because you may not be able to get to them. There are actually companies, I don't know if you'll have one around you, that have off-site storage for valuable items. It costs an arm and a leg, but it's a lot more secured in a bank's vault. They're insured, all that stuff. So look into something like that. But other than that, I also know people that dig holes in their backyard and just don't tell anyone it's there.
Yep.
Like, seriously, they just put their, actually, I know one guy, and I told this story in a recent video of mine, but I don't know if you guys saw it, but he literally puts he would buy silver and put it into his fish tank. And he said, no one's gonna, if they break into my house, they're kind of looking at my fish tank. You know what I mean?
I thought it was funny. We were just talking about the Stone Mountain, not the coin necessarily, but the actual
mountain. Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, he said it's one of his. I love the design as well, although it's controversial in today's world.
Mustang Dave says taxes on precious metals, never heard of it. Well, the IRS considers precious metals a collectible. So I actually literally said this in today's video, but if you, like, for example, a 1 ounce gold eagle, if you hold it for less than a year and you sell it, the profit you make on the coin, you'll be taxed at your nominal tax rate based on your income bracket. If you hold it for more than a year, you're taxed 28%, which is the collectibles tax rate. So yeah, they absolutely do. There's capital gains tax on gold and silver. There's also capital losses tax though. So if you sell it for a big loss, if you have receipts showing when you bought it and when you sold it, you can write off that loss. Absolutely. Yep.
But Seeker had a point, ladies and gentlemen. That is, always seek the advice of a tax professional versus, what we have to say. We of course, the three of us know what we're talking about, but in your state, things can be different. There'll be state laws that affect you. Like I know in California, if you buy more than $1,500 of precious metals, they don't tax you at that moment, but it has ramifications down the road, like Seeker pointed out. So it's always a good, solid advice to talk to a CPA.
Yeah, don't ever listen to anybody on YouTube about tax advice. That's the dumbest idea. It doesn't matter if it's me or your best friend. Just don't do it. Go see a licensed tax professional. End of story. It may cost you money, but it's one of the smartest things you can do because it costs money up front and saves you a ton of money on the other side.
Yes, sir.
And then M4A2 Master also said, I always thought they couldn't tax U.S. coins. That is incorrect. They shouldn't be able to. It's unconstitutional, I believe, but they definitely do. There's states that have sales taxes on them. The government definitely considers it a collectible and therefore will absolutely charge you capital gains. Yes. The IRS has no sense of humor, says Eddie Sedgwick.
and there is no statute of limitations for tax fraud, so keep that in mind.
That is true, 100%.
I pay my taxes every year, and I just you got it. It's something. What do they say? There's not much more certain than death and taxes. So
that's so funny. I saw a comment on another channel's video. I'm not going to say the video. I'm not going to say who made the comment, but he brought up the changes to the reporting laws for payment companies like PayPal and Venmo and all that. And he goes, I bet the IRS is going to come down really hard on these YouTube auctioneers and stuff this year now that they're changing the 1099 laws. I don't think they have any idea how that works. We've been getting 1099s for years.
Like, what are they talking about?
Like, what are you? I pay my taxes every year.
Yeah, like, do these people? I'm not saying you guys here in the chat, but do these people think that we don't pay our taxes? I'm not stupid.
Yeah. There's a reason why I have always and will always expect goods and services, because that right there already puts it on PayPal's 1099 report no matter what.
Yes, it does.
My job, though, is the money I spent on the coins I buy, I get receipts for. So I marry those receipts with the PayPal fees and the PayPal 1099, and I show the difference in profit. So that's how it works. And they don't understand that that's what we do. And that's why I've always taken goods and services, just so I protect myself.
I got one is, and if you see somebody telling you all the time to use only friends and family, that's the person that's going to eventually end up in jail if they get caught.
Well, if PayPal doesn't shut them down first, but yeah, you're right.
Right. Well, and that's the other thing. PayPal will shut you down.
Well, here's the thing. Like, they could be accepting friends and family, but still pay their taxes, and the government won't care. PayPal will care. But, you know, a lot of people that are taken to friends and family probably aren't going to get that 1099, and then probably aren't going to report it. And then the day that they get audited, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. So just pay. Yeah, I just can't believe it. Just blew my mind. I'm like, do you really think that we just don't pay our tax? Like, it didn't make any sense to me. It just didn't click. I was like, what? I'm not stupid.
I hear you, brother. Right. I know the fight.
Right.
PayPal and Venmo, let's face it. Any service, Sydney, that allows people to pay you instantly without having to swipe a card deserves a cut to an extent. They also, like PayPal, who takes that 2.5% plus 30 cents per transaction, they actually protect the buyer and the shipper. So that 2.5% plus 30 cents actually is peace of mind, if you will, for you and for the person that is shipping it. You're both protected under their agreement. So for me, it's worth the goods and services. Friends and family has no protection. I can say, I sent it. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And that's a very good point. You want that protection because it makes a big difference. You know, if you send it friends and family, you're done. There's nothing you can really do.
Right.
The Rook one, the irony of everything to that question for me personally is I have kept receipts since I started my YouTube channel. So I have every single receipt for everything I've ever bought, either in my collection or that I have put up for auction or that I have just purchased that's miscellaneous inventory. Because what you also have to do at the end of the year is report what you have already purchased that you actually still have in inventory that you plan on selling down the road. That way I don't claim it twice in 2 different years or vice versa. So yeah, I do have that. Luckily, I have that. There are a few things, let's face it. I have been to a coin show and I've picked up stuff for my personal collection, a half cent that I needed that I probably know I'll never sell. I didn't ask for a receipt because I was super excited about getting it. And so there are some things in my collection that obviously I won't have a receipt for that I don't plan on selling. And if the day comes that I have to sell it, I'm going to take the whole hit if I ever do, because I don't think I'm ever going to remember exactly what I paid for it at that time and have proof of it. So it's good to keep receipts, good to talk to a tax professional, good to do things on the up and up to protect yourself and the people that deal with you.
I'll put it to you this way. When I do my taxes every year, I have never claimed anything that I didn't have a receipt for. Nothing. Yep. So if I bought something and I sold it and I didn't have a receipt for it, that sucks.
It sucks.
Yeah, but I'm not going. Yeah. Just,
like, I'll give you an example. Yeah. On my 100K giveaway, I actually could not find the receipt for the 3 gold coins because I had those for 4+ years. Couldn't find them. So that is, I gave away $1,000 worth of gold that I can't even claim. It is what it is. A small price to pay. Thank you for the 100,000 subscribers. It is what it is. So what else are we doing? I saw Yankee stacking in the house. What's up, Yankee? Good to see you, brother.
What up, Yank?
I was for some reason waiting for Yankee to like verbally respond. What's up, Yankee? Wow. Woo. Seeker. Oh, by the way, if you guys were wondering, I know a couple people had asked it right at the beginning of the stream. When I got off of Saturday night's stream, I took my temperature and I had 103.1 fever.
Yikes.
Yeah, did not feel good. What was odd, though, is I don't like NyQuil because it makes me feel weird. So I took DayQuil, went straight to bed, woke up the next morning, no fever, and haven't had one since, and it felt great. So whatever the heck happened, it hit me Saturday morning. It left me when I went to bed Saturday night. But Boy, it did not feel good trying to finish that stream with that fever. I felt horrible. I felt so bad. At the end of it, I was like falling fast.
We have T-minus a few minutes, I guess, before we say goodbye. So I just wanted to double check with everyone who is watching. If you have any last minute questions we can answer, that'd be great. I do see Morgan McLean did put out, how did I connect with my silver dealer? You know, it's very difficult for me to give all of my connections away because there are a lot of people within a 50-mile radius of where I live that also do what I do. And I don't want to be competitive with those that didn't put the work in by giving them the quick answer. But I will tell you this. Once you find a shop that you feel is being fair and helpful to you and isn't just there to grab your money and kick you out, then you can up your purchases over time. And if you exclusive with them or you plan on doing this a lot more than just for your stack, they know I buy for myself, for my streams, for videos, and for auctions. And so I have made it clear that I will spend more with them if they can hold stuff for me so that they don't just part it out to everyone else. But I do expect a slightly better deal for someone who's going to spend a lot of money. And if they can't work within those parameters, then I will find somebody who will. And I don't threaten them like that. That's just my mindset. And so through my actions of purchasing over years and becoming Facebook friends with them, I mean, as a personal Facebook friend, they're going to sell me whatever I want to buy when I can buy it if I can afford it. And so that's how I set mine up. It took me 2.5 years to really get to that point, and the last 1.5 years has been really good. Now, he's not going to sell me something undervalued just to hook me up. He just might not check as often as he would for John Doe walking in. And that's how my relationship goes, personally.
Yeah, you hit it right on the nail. You know, it's not giving away every last secret, but it really comes down to building relationships, knowing how to establish that. And, you know, like I said, I use a couple different coin dealers, and yet there's one guy that I put on the highest pedestal. I spend the most money with him because he treats me the best. And, you know, he's a legitly good, honest coin dealer.
Yep. Last question. He's asked it about 10 times in the chat, and every time I read it, I went to go find it. I had 2 other questions I brought up on the screen. I feel bad. I'm sorry, Trump. I know you've asked this like 10 times in the chat tonight, and I haven't missed it. I just haven't put it up yet. Seeker, I'll ask you, what are your thoughts on the 2022 Proof Morgan and Peace dollars?
Neutral at best, neutral to negative. I'm not really happy about them. I was so excited about the 2021 unks, and then the way the mint handled them, I just can't get excited about them. I'm trying, but if you notice, I haven't done a single video on them because I almost don't care. Like, I can't believe that it's come that far with the mint with me, but I almost just don't care. Like, it's so weird, but it's true.
I'm not excited about him. I mean, will I probably get a couple so I have them? Yes. Am I going to go out there and talk them up and think that they're the most wonderful thing in the world? No. I think when I watched Silver Seeker's 2021 Morgan and Peace dollar review video, because I hadn't had mine in my hand yet, I was so disappointed in the finish on the coins that at this point, I was so excited about the 2021s that I'm not even excited about the 2022s.
Right. I'm right there with you because I would have been more happy if they were one-off, you know, that they did it for the 100-year anniversary between the Morgan and whatnot. And now it's like, you're trying to squeeze the market a little bit. I've been surprised, you know, with the value of some of the 2021 still.
What would Minty Mike say? I don't know.
What would Minty Mike say, Seeker? Come on. We need Minty Mike to make an appearance and tell us how great they are or something.
I don't have that set up on tonight's stream, but maybe.
Dang it. All right.
Maybe next time though.
Yeah, sounds like Minty Mike's got to do. Hey, I heard there's some banter on the stream the other night. Here's my thoughts on that video.
Yeah, maybe Minty Mike can show himself. We'll see.
Oops, sorry. You bombed.
All right. I don't know if we can kill any more time. We're 4.5 minutes over the 1 hour allotment. You guys have been great. I did notice that there was a lot of support on the member shout outs. Thank you. I know I'm a terrible host sometimes on typing and pinning a comment and then trying to do both. And then I do a lot of this. So I apologize in advance for the length of my absence in between questions. But you guys are the best. I'm going to let Raven and Seeker close it out with some final thoughts. We'll kick it off to Seeker first.
Seriously, guys, I love doing these every other week. It's always a good time. I love answering the questions and just hanging out with you guys. I know that there's a lot that Rob missed. I was seeing a bunch that, he didn't end up putting on the screen. So next, 2 weeks we'll be on Raven's channel. So if you have the same question in 2 weeks, come back and bring it again. I am committed somewhat. I just have so much going on. Like, I'm so busy. Ask Rob. I tell him all the time. Oh my gosh. But I am somewhat committed to getting the website re-updated to have all of our new episodes posting on the website. So that is my goal. It's not done yet, but it is my goal. So we'll see how that goes here. But all of these episodes will eventually be reposted back on R3Cast. So we will get them up there soon. Other than that, though, guys, seriously, thank you so much. We will see you in a couple of weeks over on Raven's channel. Love you guys and have a great night. You go, Raven.
Before I go to Raven, I do want to say thank you really quick. Plumber Stacker dropped a $20 super chat, and Barry T for Silver dropped a $40 super chat. They're both thanking all of us for a great night. Thank you guys very much. Now let's go to Raven. Sorry, Raven.
I always have a really fun time doing these with you guys, and I was a little bit distracted tonight, so I apologize to people in chat. The little ones were back there fighting. It got kind of bad. The little guy broke skin on the little girl with a bite, so that's why I ran back to the other room. But really looking for Grove coming up and getting to see and meet a lot of you that are in chat, and the three of us are going to be doing some really cool stuff in the future that I can't wait to see as well. And we'll see you in 2 weeks for the next episode.
In the nest. In the nest.
In
baby.
the nest.
All right, you guys. Thank you again. Thank you, super chatters. Thank you, members. Thank you, everyone. Sorry I missed questions. Man, Seeker, I forgot how hard this is to do this. Like, it's not easy.
Literally what I was doing, and I know we have to go, but I would be 15, 20 minutes back on the chat. I would just manually scroll down.
I should have done that because I was catching back up and then looking back up and then catch. So I was doing a lot of yes, sir. But actually a lot of people were going like, no, Rob, you're missing stuff.
Well, it was easier for you because on my stream, we hardly got any super chats. But when the super chats come through, then you have to scroll down because you have to get those.
Yeah.
And so that made it a lot easier for you, or a lot easier for me. But
all right, 202 likes. That's the weight of Rocky Balboa when he fought Clubber Lang. 202 pounds.
Adrian!
Right. You guys have a great evening. I'll see you guys Wednesday, and happy hunting, my friends.
See you guys.